I spent about a decade at the CIA as a targeter.
The Muslim regime really just wants to take over because that's what their God tells them to do, right?
Islam is it's difficult for them to reach us with any significance. The whole world questions whether or not the President of the United States is even making his own decisions or whether he's the puppet of Israel. I'm not worried about Islam.
Selama puluhan tahun, jutaan orang di Amerika mengenal Islam melalui cerita yang sama. Cerita tentang ketakutan, cerita tentang ancaman, dan cerita bahwa Islam adalah musuh yang harus dihentikan. Di sebuah podcast, seorang pastor kembali mengulang pandangan yang selama ini banyak dipercaya. Ia menyatakan bahwa Islam ingin menguasai dunia, karena itulah yang menurutnya diajarkan oleh agama Islam.
So you see that as kind of, I mean, that's the end game, right? Because you were saying the Muslim regime really just wants to take over because that's what their God tells them to do, right?
And again, if you want to understand Islam, you need to understand the world, and worldview. What is the word? The word is the Quran and the Hadith. They read the Bible, but they don't believe it. Muslims actually believe in the Quran.
Right.
It's the literal word of God. In 600 AD, Islam took over Egypt by force, by sword, by blood. They killed the men, they raped the women, they raped the nuns, they enslaved the children, and they eradicated Christianity, and they burned the churches.
Ucapan sang pastor ini mungkin terdengar baru bagi sebagian orang. Namun, narasi negatif tentang Islam telah berulang selama puluhan tahun. Al-Quran bahkan telah mengingatkan tentang hal itu. Mereka hendak memadamkan cahaya Allah dengan mulut-mulut mereka. Tetapi, Allah tetap menyempurnakan cahayanya walaupun orang-orang kafir membencinya. Yang menarik, hari ini, tanggapan yang berbeda bukan datang dari seorang ustaz, bukan pula dari seorang muslim, melainkan dari orang-orang yang pernah bekerja di jantung intelijen Amerika. Ketika diminta menjelaskan siapa yang paling layak membuat Amerika merasa paranoid, jawaban mereka justru membuat banyak orang terkejut. Mari kita dengarkan.
Both of you were in the CIA. I'm going to give you 4 countries to be paranoid about. Which of them would you give the biggest percentage all the way to the smallest? So think about it. You have a round, literally it's going to look like a pie chart.
Okay.
And then you put the names in there, okay? So you have these 4 categories. You have Islam.
Okay.
So within Islam, we have IRGC, Qatar, just include all of them. We have Israel, because you know Israel is also coming up a lot of different places. Then we have China, and we have Russia. Where does your paranoia lie the most for the next 10 years with these 4 different countries as well as Islam?
Okay.
I'll give you a minute to draw it up.
Okay, so we just rank them in order.
Just rank them in order and give like 45% would be Islam, 25 would be this.
China, Islam,
Israel, and Russia. Where should we be most paranoid about?
Sampai di sini, mungkin Anda mulai merasa ada sesuatu yang janggal. Mengapa Islam, sebuah agama, disejajarkan dengan negara-negara seperti China, Rusia, dan Israel? Jika alasannya karena sebagian aktor atau pemerintahan tertentu mengatasnamakan Islam, bukankah logika yang sama juga bisa diterapkan pada agama lain? Mengapa yang dibandingkan bukan agama dengan agama atau negara dengan negara? Mengapa Islam dimasukkan sebagai satu kategori tersendiri, sementara China, Rusia, dan Israel diwakili sebagai negara? Pertanyaan inilah yang membuat diskusi ini menjadi menarik. Sebab, cara kita menyusun sebuah pertanyaan seringkali sudah mempengaruhi cara orang memandang jawabannya.
Okay, would you mind showing to the audience so they know and then I give your answer? You can start off first.
Yeah, so China takes the massive chunk of pie for me. And now we're talking about paranoia, not money.
Purely paranoia. We'll get to
purely
money as well.
paranoia.
Purely paranoia.
China takes it. China is the #1 strategic threat to the United States.
What did you put on China?
50%.
Okay.
It's the #1 strategic threat to the West. It is the thing that will end democracy everywhere in the world. Islam, I gave 5%. I'm not worried about Islam. There are other countries that need to worry about Islam, but we're not one of them. Russia, I gave 20%, mainly because of the threat that it kind of constantly sends to Europe and how dependent Europe is on us. And then Israel, I gave 25%. So I am actually saying we should be more paranoid of Israel than Russia.
And Islam, 5 times Islam.
5 times
I
Islam.
actually love that because hers is different. Go for it.
Yep, same reason for China. Obviously, they want a world that we are one of their subjects in, not really equal partners. So that's 40%. Islam 30%, because I think we've seen the greatest kind of successes of terrorists in the last few years after the fall of Afghanistan, the fall of Syria, potentially soon the fall of Mogadishu, and then obviously likely we'll have the fall of Mali. So they're starting to feel, hey, the caliphate's coming back. You know, they're aligned with Israel, with Qatar and Turkey on that plan. So very, very dangerous. Besides bin Laden's 4 sons planning an attack here. Russia, 30%, because Russia's always playing the game, and Russia will play with any enemy we have, and they don't care. They play dirty, and we can never underestimate them. Israel, I don't lose any sleep over Israel. They're the tiniest country in the world, and if they ever became a problem, we could bomb them to oblivion in 5 minutes. So I don't know why anyone loses sleep over them. But those are my numbers.
I actually love that. So let's do this. Since China and Russia, you guys both agree on 50 and 40. Let's start off with Islam first, and then we'll go to Israel. Why did you put Islam the lowest out of all of them at 5%, and then you at 30? But you go first.
I don't see Islam as a threat to the United States. And that's what I was seeing it as. Paranoid to me, right? What am I paranoid? It's not Islam. Islam is it's difficult for them to reach us with any significance. When they reach us, it's difficult for them to bypass our security systems, whether they're cybersecurity systems, police systems, border security systems, etc. They pose a real threat to our allies, who are much less sophisticated in their defense and national security sector, but not to us. Meanwhile, Israel actually has the ability to drag us into all sorts of shit that actually does impact us. We are all paying more money for oil right now because of Israel. We are all suffering under an international outcry against American leadership because of Israel. The whole world questions whether or not the president of the United States is even making his own decisions, or whether he's a puppet of Israel. So Israel has an incredible ability to frustrate and put us in quagmire that Islam just doesn't have.
Okay, so what's the worst thing that Israel could do to us? Go a little further. So because you put 25%, that's a real threat. You put it bigger than Russia and Islam. So what are some things they could do to us?
So I'm not worried about Israel sending a bomb into New York. If that's what you're worried about, we're worried about different things. Israel could easily launch a false flag operation that sends us into a war. They can have an Israeli who poses as a Palestinian, who goes in and causes some kind of crazy shit in Syria, and now all of a sudden the entire United States is engaged in Syria because of something that Israel set up as a false flag. And that is something that the Mossad does all the time. They do it very well, very eloquently. They already selectively share intelligence with the United States, and the reason you selectively share intelligence is to create the opportunity for misdirection or malintent. So Israel's already involved in these kinds of operations at a very high success rate. That's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about them backstabbing the United States. I'm concerned about them undermining our national interests. I'm concerned about them choosing, like they did with Iran, to escalate rhetoric about a certain issue that's more important to them than it is to us, that then goes on to affect us.
Pada akhirnya, video ini bukan sekedar tentang seorang pastor yang menyudutkan Islam, bukan pula tentang media yang berulang kali membingkai Islam dengan prasangka. Mungkin ini adalah pengingat bagi setiap Muslim bahwa jalan kebenaran tidak selalu dipenuhi tepuk tangan. Terkadang ia ditemani tuduhan, kesalahpahaman, bahkan kebencian. Karena itulah Allah berfirman, "Wahai orang-orang yang beriman, jadikanlah sabar dan sholat sebagai penolongmu. Sesungguhnya Allah beserta orang-orang yang sabar." Jika video ini memberi Anda sudut pandang baru, bagikan kepada orang lain, agar semakin banyak diskusi yang lahir dari ilmu, bukan prasangka.